3 of How to Steal a Dragon Sword. Chapter 3 is called Grappling the Problem. Now, there you are, you see. That explains what Hiccup was doing 3/4 of the way up Angry Mountain, and that some sort of danger awaited him at the Flashborn School of Sword Fighting. If, of course, they ever made it to the Flashborn School of Sword Fighting. Now, where were we? Oh yes, the revolting tongue twisters had slid its tongue around Hiccup's arm, so he dangled from the hammock, completely vulnerable and suspended from a 3,000-foot drop. Oh my goodness. The dragon had paused, its disgusting mouth open with black saliva dripping from its fangs. There it is. Oh my goodness. It's a nasty one. And there's Hiccup. You can't really see him. He's in the gutter. Yeah, he's about to wrap his tongue around him. All 7 of its eyes were focused on Hiccup's sword and his sword alone. The dragon shifted his grip a moment, preparing to twist off the whole arm with the sword yoki. And Toothless, who had given up trying to wake up the Windwalker, realised that he would have to take drastic action himself. He leapt up and bit the dragon as hard as he could, right on the tip of that disgusting tongue. And that was very good of Toothless, because that must have been not very nice. The dragon gave an ear-splitting scream of pain. The tongue wrapped itself in a flurry of splattering saliva, and the tongue twister lost his grip on Hiccup's arm and the rock and fell into free fall off the cliff. "Thanks, Toothless," breathed Hiccup, and he gave a final lurching, desperate swing and landed on the ledge just at the moment that the fat hammock finally gave way. In an instant, the now furious tongue twister pulled out of freefall and was flying back up towards them with bat-like flaps, murder in its 7 eyes. Hiccup could see the entire swarm had come out of the prey dive and were following. What were they after? Hiccup thought extremely fast. "Look after your sword," Old Wrinkly had said. "It is the sword that points the way." Suddenly Hiccup understood. The dragons hadn't been looking at him. What they wanted was his sword. "Here's my sword if you want it," yelled Hiccup, leaning backwards and with one swift sleight of hand drawing Fishlegs' sword out of his backpack. He held it aloft for a moment to make sure that the dragons had seen it, and then he threw it as far as he could down into the gorge. It made a beautiful arc as it fell. The multiple dragon eyes snapped like clockwork to the sword. The lead tongue twister leapt after the dropping sword, and the other dragons swarmed after it too, snapping and snarling and pushing one another out of the way like dogs chasing a stick. "That'll keep them busy for a moment or so before they realise it's the wrong one," thought Hiccup. "I can't hold on much longer," panted Snotlout, nostrils flaring, eyes popping, teeth gritted. "Save me, you useless twerp." "He's far too heavy for me to put him up," thought Hiccup. As he looked round desperately, he saw beside him on the ledge the ropes and the grappling hooks that he and Fishlegs had used on the climb. With frantic fingers, Hiccup tied one end to a splinter of rock protruding from the cliff and dangled the grappling hook. Oh, this is great if Hiccup. He's gonna try and save Snotlout. He's so great. With frantic fingers, Hiccup tied one end to a splinter of rock protruding from the cliff and dangled the grappling hook over the edge of the ledge as if he were trying to catch a crab at the pier. There you look, he's latching on to Snotlout. "Ah!" screamed Snotlout as his fingers finally gave way. But just at the moment as they did, the grappling hook caught Snotlout's belt firmly and held, and he swung out, swinging from the rock by his waist. Okay. So Snotlout was safe now, for the moment at least. But the situation could still not be described as good. Not good at all. Those dragons were coming back. And just as soon as they discovered that they were going after the wrong sword, they would be back. And the warriors-to-be were stuck there, unable to move. It would be like shooting fish in a barrel. "Toothless," Hiccup ordered, "I want you to fly as quickly as possible up to the school, find my father, find Flashman, find anyone, and make it clear we need rescuing." "Okay," squeaked Toothless, unexpectedly obedient, and he zoomed off, deeply relieved to have an excuse to get out of there. All of the young warriors were awake now, and most had climbed out of their hammocks and taken up as firm a foothold as they could on the cliff, their bows loaded, their spears and swords drawn. The hunting dragons, too, were wide awake, their necks swollen, ready for the next attack, peering down into the darkness of the gorge. There were yellow pinpricks in that darkness that grew into eyes, and a chanting that began softly and grew louder. "Here they come!" yelled a young dainty brute. "Brace yourselves!" This is what they're saying. Oh, I don't like this. "Make red your claws with human blood. Obliterate the human filth. Torch the humans like a wood. The rebellion is coming." And a great wave of dragons came roaring up for another attack, pouring out fire before they even reached the cliff. I'll have to have the next bit tomorrow.